This is part 6 of Access Module 2 SAM Project 1A. Step 16 says to create a cross-tab query based on the Mid-Atlantic table with the following options. Use only data from the Mid-Atlantic table. Use the state field for row headings and the city field for column headings. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get that part. Let's see, Mid-Atlantic table. So I want to make sure that's the one that's selected. I'm going to create, and then for the wizard, for queries, query wizard, and the second one is cross-tab query wizard. So you want to go to the wizard and then choose the second option. Now, you will get a list and you get to choose Mid-Atlantic for your table. And they kind of show you a little bit of a sample, headers and totals and such. So right now we selected the table we want the data to come from. Which fields do you want as row headings? Well, let's go back over here and see. State field will be our row headings. So we'll click on that and arrow over to be the selected field. You'll see those listed now. And then it says, if we click on the next button, which values do you want as your column headings? Well, they told us that city will be our column headings. So we'll choose city, and you'll see city 1, city 2, city 3, and then the function that you want to do, in this case they have total, but we're going to change that to count. So it says use count of the customer ID field. Okay, so we're going to click on next. We want customer ID from the field, and we already have count. It just so happened they lined up this way. And you'll see that that's put it in place in my crosstab query. You'll see that it's doing a count of customer ID, which is exactly what we want to do. And it also asks us here to include row sums in the crosstab query. Well, you'll see a check mark. Do you want to summarize each row? And the checks there, yes, include row sums. That happens to be what they want us to do. So we will click on next. And let's see what they want us to name it. They want us to change the name to, and I don't like to top anything I don't have to. Oops. Click in front of the C there for crosstab. I'm just going to backspace all that other stuff off. And I'm going to type in state hyphen city. And then they want me to have a space there between city and crosstab, and we're going to have it show it to us, so we're going to go ahead and let it view. So we'll click on finish, and then I'm going to kind of scroll a little bit. You'll see first of all the states, and you'll see the total of customers. Allentown only has customers from Pennsylvania because that city's in Pennsylvania. Bridgewater is one from New Jersey. I'll just try to scoot over here. And let's see, Chester, I forgot what state that was, but Chester's the third state, Pennsylvania. And then let's see if we can find one from Virginia. There we are. Manassas is in Virginia, and there are 2 customers from that city in that state. So do you see how the crosstab works for us? I'm just going to scroll back to the beginning, and I do want to save this, and I'll close it. Step 17 says export the renters table. This is the renters table. They want us to export as an Excel file with the name renters to the same folder as the one that stores your database currently. Do not export the data with formatting and layout, and save your export steps using export-renters as the name. Don't add a description, and then just save the changes to the table. Okay. Export the renters table. So I want to do external data. I already have renters selected. And they change this around a little bit, so I always have to look here to see which one's my exports and which are my imports. These are imports, these are exports. So they want me to export it to an Excel spreadsheet. So I'll click on that. and they want to make sure that I'm putting it where my other files are, so I have to browse. And in my case, I've been putting them on my passport drive, and I've just been dumping them straight into my video file since I'm working with these files and creating videos from them. So it says use the same name, which is renters there. So I'll save that. So now I've got the right place where it's going to be saved at. It is saving as an Excel workbook. And it says, let's see, export data with formatting and layout. Remember, they told us not to do that. Do not export the data with, so we're not check marking that. All it says then is to save. So we're going to click on OK. And then we get the save export steps, and in this case they do want us to save them, so we'll put a check mark there. And then they already have the name is export-renters, so we don't have to type it. It said do not type a description, so we're not going to. And so we will click on the save export down at the bottom. And just to show you, I will go to my, and let me pull this up hopefully where you can see it. Let me look for my Excel spreadsheets. Look for one that says renters. Hope I put it in the right spot. Okay, right there it is. Not quite sure. I think it's still building it, if I'm not mistaken. But it is there. Let me minimize that down. Now, oops, I don't want to go that far high. Let's go over here to the instructions. Step 18 says import. Use the import spreadsheet wizard to import data from the support file that we also downloaded. Append it to the umbrella table. Do not save the import steps. Open the umbrella table and verify that it has 14 records. Okay, so we're going to import into umbrella. I just like to have it selected, but I'm going to go back up here to external data, and now they have what they call new data source. So you can do it from a file, and you can see you can get it from an Excel file. Let's see what we're supposed to do here. Use the import spreadsheet to import data, and it's not from another database. I'll just hover over some of these. You can see what some of these others might be, but ours is from file, and it's an Excel spreadsheet. Now it is located already in this location on my drive, but if you have to browse to locate it, you can certainly do so. In fact, I still have to browse to choose which file it is. So the support AC19-2A umbrella data, I still have to select that, so it's selected here. Now, you can import the source data into a new table and create a whole new table in your current database. But in this case, they want us to append these records, to add these records to an existing table. It doesn't need to go to the grading info table. Instead, it's supposed to go to the umbrella table. So make sure you have the second option selected and you've chosen the umbrella table. Then you'll click on OK, and it's going to show you how this data is coming in. You have to be aware that the data that's coming in from an Excel spreadsheet, the fields columns have to be in the same order as what's in your database, or they'll be all jumbled up and you'll have data mismatches where you tried to put text where it's supposed to be numeric, and you put text where it's supposed to be a numerical date format. So we just want to make sure that it can use our columns as we have here. Let's just double check. Let me move that out of the way here for a second so it's kind of floating here. Okay, just open it afterwards. Okay, so we'll say finish. I guess we better say next just in case. Import to table umbrella, yes, and then we'll just finish. Now we're not going to save the steps for the import, so we'll close it. They do want you to open up the umbrella, and you should have 14 records, and that's what they have here. So we'll close that out. We successfully imported data and appended it or added it to our existing table. Now, rename the Pennsylvania owners query as Pennsylvania customers. Pennsylvania owners, let me scroll down. Now I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to choose rename. And I'm going to be at the very end of that name and just backspace off the word owners. And they want us to type the word customer. So I can leave Pennsylvania there. So add customers there. So it says Pennsylvania customers and just hit the enter key. And you did that within the navigation area. It says group the objects in the navigation pane by tables and related views. So if you go here, you'll see that you could close the navigation pane and open it back up. That lets you have a more viewable area. But then this little arrow down here, just to the right of the shutter closing and opening, you can see different ways to view. I like the object type and all access objects, but in this case they want it to be tables and related views. So this is how it needs to be submitted to SAM, is in this order. So you have the customers table. It tells you if it's a table. You can tell by these two images together means it's a query. And you'll notice that homeowners, there's the table and then there's all the queries that's with it and so forth. Okay? Now, we've grouped those together. So it says that we need to now close any objects that we have open, which we don't have anything open at this point. We want to go to File, Compact and Repair. And you can see this time it actually took some time to actually record it and compress that data file or the database file. That's so that we don't have wasted space that could be used for other files. Now it says that we can now exit out of Access. And what I'm going to do is pause this and go ahead and upload it to SAM, and then I'll come back in and let you know how it turned out. Okay, I have submitted it for grading, and I've opened up the report. Remember that it's saves it as an Access database, and it adds the grading report to the bottom. And so we made 100 out of 100. So it was a very long, tedious project, but we completed it, and hopefully you'll be able to do the same. So this concludes Access Module 2 SAM Project 1A, and I add the 1 in there because it says that up here, even though in our textbooks and stuff it says A. So you know, just look for the right name, Module 2, Access Module 2, and you'll know what you're supposed to be working on.